How's it going, everybody? RyeSquad here today, and we are back with your Toledo Underdogs in our Underdogs to Champions series. And we finally made the playoffs. We got bounced by the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it was a really close series. I'm really not upset at all about this loss, about getting bounced, getting swept. I mean, we'd lost 3 games in overtime, and the other one was a 3-2 loss in which we had the lead in the third, and they stormed back at home. So I can't really be too upset with how we performed. I think what we need to hope for at this point is just better goaltending and maybe some better depth. That's one of the things that we struggled with, was our penalty kill was awful. And that's probably something about having way too many strong options here in the bottom 6, right? Noah Gregor's probably the only, I mean, he's amazing defensively, but Lutz, Von Barnekow, and Hellenius are not what I'd consider defensive stalwarts at all. So maybe something that we can sign in free agency, right? We're still limited to 80 overall. No higher than that can we acquire. So an 80 overall 4th line winger or center that's going to win a ton of faceoffs and help just solidify the defense. And then talking about the defense, Ilya Labushkin was pretty good. That's Zane Park. Ilya Labushkin was pretty good when we brought him in, right? -2 only. He wasn't great. So maybe another option like Labushkin that can provide defensive penalty killing strength, and then we'll see, right? He's making 2.4. I probably don't want to bring him back. He's 35. I feel like we can find somebody else in free agency. And then in goal, we're just going to have to develop, guys. We have to develop the goalies in the system, and that might be the longest thing we have to do. But I am excited for this one, guys. So let's jump forward, get to the draft lottery, which we're not in finally, and then get to the draft, see what we can add. And here's the draft lottery. The New York Rangers are your Stanley Cup champions, but Nashville jumps from 5-1, Ottawa from 8-2. Obviously, we're not in it, so we're in the back half of the first round here. We can take a look at the draft class. Let's take a look at the retired players. Anybody important? Sidney Crosby and Malkin both go out. That is crazy. Patrick Kane, Claude Giroux, John Tavares, Matt Duchene, Yossi, Letang. Oh my good, Letang goes out as a king actually. But Letang, Malkin, Crosby, you got to think they're going to go in the Wall of Fame or the Penguins Hall of Fame. I don't know what they call it, but they absolutely go in there. So man, a lot of big names retiring this year. Nobody from us because we're not a very old team. We're a very young team. So Jonathan Quick, Markstrom, Allen, Mrazek, a lot of big names retiring. So a lot of turnover in the league, and that's when we can step up. And it's going to be a pretty quick draft. We have the 18th pick in the first, the 18th pick in the second, and then 2/3. So we've been using these picks to acquire the talent and move around. And honestly, we still have a bunch of good picks, right? These are all top 100 picks. So I'll take it, but not too much to talk about here. 18th, we could still get a pretty solid player. Let's take a look at the draft class and show you guys just what we're dealing with. There is a franchise, Louis Vara. He's a playmaker, left winger, 5'8", a little bit on the smaller side, but hey, that hasn't stopped some of these guys IRL from being amazing. So taking a look here, there is this medium defender. Wow, he looks really good. Walter Pearson. At 12, though, so we would have to move up. He's cycle pinch, NHL ready, medium top 4. Yeah, he looks incredible. Taking a look more closer to our pick, there's Sugihara, who could be elite, potentially 2 years away. By Norrell here, we think he might have an X factor. He might have wheels, so that could be impressive for a 6'3" player. His strategies aren't good, but you can fix that this year. And then there is Jared Simpson, another guy. So just targeting, I think I might want to move up and go get that guy. The defender. So I mean, if he's NHL ready, that could be a perfect addition. Ronald Mayer here, another defender. So we've got a lot of options in the draft. So let's go ahead, jump forward and tackle that. And there we go, guys. We have just made a trade. I am going to give up Consta Hellenius and our first to move up to 12 with the Dallas Stars. We are on the clock, so I won't explain too much, but Consta Hellenius, 79 at 23, playmaker for the bottom 6. We've got other guys that can fill that role. And the first round pick is just a pick swap, basically. So we move up, they move down, and we are able to take that medium top 4 defenseman, Walter Pearson here, who looks, and he's NHL ready. He looks like a stud, shutdown ability, heavy slap shot. I mean, he played in the USA and he had 47 points as a defender in 25 minutes. I think this is great. These numbers are fantastic. Obviously, you don't get all the stats when they play in the juniors, but Walter Pearson is a perfect left shot defenseman for us to add to the team. 47 points in 64 games as a defenseman is crazy good. So I'm going to take him. I think he's an upgrade over Consta Hellenius. We've got other prospects and players that are going to take his spot, and he's an expiring contract, I believe, as well. So there's no need to worry about replacing him or the money or anything like that. We're just going to find a free agent who's a veteran shutdown guy. We need veterans when we need defensive forward. So penalty killers. But Walter Persson, welcome to the Toledo Underdogs, and he's a 78 medium top 4 5'11 defender. But look at those stats, guys. He looks really good. It's going to take him 1 year to season, and then he will be ready. I was surprised to see him get to 12. I thought I could have had to trade up with the Kings. They were really driving a hard bargain. Same thing here with the San Jose Sharks, but giving up Consta Hellenius. I mean, Avery Galchenyuk here's a pretty good player for the Sharks at 11. There's been quite a few. I mean, Michelli here, 83 medium elite. All these teams, I mean, geez, the Capitals really whiffed on that pick, but everybody else looks pretty darn good for their pick. Louis Vara is a great franchise playmaker at 83 already. So very, very happy to have Persson, though, and it didn't cost us a pick, so we still have a few more picks remaining. Let's jump forward to the next one. Another year, guys, another second-round pick on an elite goaltender. Jaro Langenbrunner is a medium elite. He's 19 years old, so he's a little older, 4 years away, but it is trade value at this point. I think it would be more valuable in a second-round pick. If we just take a look at our draft board really quickly and see what pick numbers we actually have. It won't be able to tell me that way, of course. So we go ahead and offer trade. The menus have gotten really glitchy, guys, so I may be very cautious and save quite a bit. This latest update has really kind of hurt this, but we got to take him now unless we move up in the third, and I really don't feel like moving around anymore because we don't have the picks to do it. We do have 2 firsts next year, which should be exciting. Let's hope Boston bottoms out. But with this pick, we'll take Jaro Langenbrunner. No doubt in my mind that he is the best value on the board at this moment. There's other guys available that are okay, that are shots in the dark because our scout department didn't do well this year. They did well last year, so I trusted them. How dare I? But Langenbrunner, welcome to the Toledo Underdogs, medium elite, 59 hybrid goaltender. And with our next pick, we're going to take this gem. The gem bust thing, I feel like is just completely like broken. Low top 4 defenseman here. He looks decent, right? He doesn't look bad, pretty average. And he's potentially 3 years away as an 18-year-old. I mean, in the third round, if we can find something like that, I'll absolutely take it. So Sean Bork, low top 4. Welcome to Toledo Underdogs. And there he is, 62 overall, low top 4. So get this guy signed, get him playing some ice time. Hopefully he does end up hitting that potential, but it's just another shot for us. So I don't really like the look of the options on the board, so I'm going to make this trade quick because I've been looking around for a while, but a 3rd and a 6th this year for next year's 2nd from the Florida Panthers. I'm going to accept that deal, and there we go. We look very healthily stocked as far as another set of elite draft picks. 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and 2 thirds. So that's 6 picks in the top 100. I'll take that any day of the week. And here we go, guys. We're in the re-sign phase. You can see that Brad Lambert is just turned out to be a stud. And look at that contract, $6.4 million for this absolute beauty. Gavin McKenna, I'm hoping that he jumps, right? The morale's high. We made the playoffs. Same thing with Owen Tippett, right? He's up to an 88. Zadina's an 88. Gregor's an 88. I feel like at this point, with $10 million in cap space, we could do some damage. Now, looking at the goaltenders, you know, I like to start in the goalies and then work my way out. I think it's time to move on from Jet Greaves. Lincoln Gardner at 80 overall is the best goalie we have. He's a medium elite, so hopefully he jumps a little bit. Jet Greaves wants to come back, but I think I'll rock with Gardner and Ratzlaff. And then in the minors, we can go with Phillips and Tikhonov as the 1-2 pairing. I think that's, guys, our goaltending situation is looking pretty healthy. So Jet Greaves, thank you for your service, but I'm going to let you go. I know everyone's going to be a little bit upset by that, but I'm in the locker room, not you guys. I know you guys understand, but they don't. But we're going to go ahead and bring in Leonardo Phillips. Accepts the offer, and there's our 4 goaltenders. So the next guy we're going to bring back is Jack Thompson. He's up to an 81. He's been kind of the 7th defenseman, and when he stepped in and played well. And I think he's going to have no issues playing on that third pairing. He's left, right, can play either side. He's a right shot defenseman, which is good for us. He's going to get back to us about the contract offer, but as you can see, we got Chubarov, Perrick, Shaw, Johnson, Hinola, and then Thompson, and then Persson, who we traded up to draft, is going to be the next best defenseman we have. He's going to play in Rochester with Novikov. We've got Trudeau, Komarov, and then down here we've got Seabrook, Bork, and then Pettersson. So we are going to probably say goodbye to Rathbone, Lucas Johansson, and Jacob Larson. So I'm pretty happy with the depth we have in the organization. It's kind of crazy how okay we are set despite not being able to acquire elite talent. And last but certainly not least, we have the forward core. And you guys can see it is fantastic. Lambert, McKenna, Tippett are all like we have so much talent. It's crazy. Lambert's above a 90 and McKenna hopefully should get there. Tippett, great. Zadina, great. Noah Gregor is honestly that guy that is just, he's fine on the third line. He's got no contest and skilled up, which is kind of a weird duo, but we'll see what he wants. I feel like we might have to choose between him and Michelli. Michelli here is a fantastic playmaker for us. Was a plus 16, only played 14 minutes, had 56 points though. 14 and a half minutes. How was his giveaway to takeaway ratio? Good Lord, takeaway ratio was crazy. And then points were just really, really solid, right? Plus 16, only took 10 penalty minutes. He might be the guy to bring back. And then Noah Gregor here. I mean, he's just so good though, right? He's got X factors. Michelli does not have X factors. They're both listed as second line forwards, but a +1, 50 penalty minutes for Noah Gregor, and a guy that I want to be, a penalty killer for us. I don't want him taking penalties, but 51 points, 23 goals is pretty impressive. He only wins 48.8% of his faceoffs, which actually isn't very good, and his giveaway to takeaway ratio isn't good either. So I think if I had to choose between them, I think I'd rather choose Michelli. Michelli would like a 4-year, $6 million deal, so that would get him till he's 32, $6 million a year. Noah Gregor would like 6 years at 7.5 and a full no movement clause. I don't think I can do that one. Let's enter the negotiation with Michelli. It's a risky chance. Let's go with neutral. And let's talk about the organization, why it'd be a good fit. Let's talk about team status. Although being is attractive, it's okay. A risky chance to persuade him. All right, I guess we're still a rebuilder. I don't understand why that is the case, but let's talk about the market, our small market. I've always wanted the unique valued. Okay. So he's going to recognize it as a strength. I like a 4-year deal for him. The contract, let's negotiate a little bit. Let's see if we can knock it down by, okay, he does want to knock it down. So if I knock it down, oh, he loves the org now. Look at that. The org went through the roof. What if we went down about 350,000? How much is he? Oh, let's continue to negotiate. Let's continue to negotiate. Absolutely. Can we go down 500,000 for you? All right. 5.1 for 4 years for a guy like Matthias Michelli is going to save us a lot of cap space. And the contract is still pretty full. I think I'm just going to hit continue. 4 years at 5.1. That's down about $1 million from where he was, right? We knocked off 600 and some thousand, I think. Actually, no, 850,000 from where he was. So I'm down for this deal. Let's go ahead and continue. I'll give you 4 years at 5.1 million if that's what you're going to sign, my guy. Like, offer you the contract. And he's going to get back to me tonight. So that's fantastic. And then taking a look at some of the depth, Nylander needs to be brought back, but this is the AHL, guys. I can easily deal with this. I'm feeling pretty good about our situation. We should have enough money to bring in maybe a couple 80 overalls, and Cooper Lutz would then replace Noah Gregor for us. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. And there we go. We are going to bring back Matthias Michelli. The morale is just covering his face and his name. They kind of need to fix that. I know it's like the easy spot to put it, but like it covers up his name and his face. But he is going to accept the offer and stick with the team. So is Jack Thompson. So those are two signings that we got done that I'm very pleased with. Now, I did try and negotiate with Noah Gregor. He's just going to want too much money. And I unfortunately think that we're not going to be able to bring him back as well as round out our bottom six with quality players, right? I kind of like to get good depth players, and we do have some decent 78s and 79s in the organization, but if we can find quality penalty killers and quality shutdown forwards for that bottom six, I think I'd rather spend the money that I could potentially, like $6 million. I don't know if we can even bring back Noah Gregor. We only have 5.5, right? And spending all of that on him would mean that, you know, we're relying on like Lavin to jump and then be ready for the NHL, right? And Lavin here is not a guy that is necessarily going to, I mean, he's not bad. He's a two-way forward. He's got decent defense, but he's not what I would consider a proven shutdown guy. Same thing with Barnacow. We've seen him in the NHL. He's decent, right? He was a +1. Didn't really take too many penalties. Giveaway to takeaway ratio pretty even. So an average fourth line forward, but you guys know what I'm trying to get at. So we have made it to free agency, and I just could not bring back Noah Gregor. But I think the good news is nobody got upset because I didn't release him. We just we tried and he made it to free agency. So maybe that's a little bit of a tip, or maybe people hated him. So I don't know. Let's take a look though at potential defensive forwards that we can bring in that are like sub 80 overall. Yeah, no, these guys are that qualify for the sub 80, but let's take a look at the defensive category and see if we can find Noah Gregory's the number one guy out there. What a surprise. But I need to find ourselves some lower quality guys, but they're still quality though. So I was able to bring in two forwards who I think are going to be perfect for the bottom six. The first guy here is Owen Beck, 25 years old, 80 overall, still medium top six, so could grow and has a great defensive category. I mean, for a guy who's going to play on the fourth line to have 83 faceoffs, 86 shot blocking, 87 stick checking, a bit of a physical presence. I mean, he's pretty well-rounded. I'm not going to lie. One of those guys that I can just bring in and plug and play on the bottom six. And he spent last year playing in the AHL, plus 34, 58 points. And he played 22 minutes a night. So that was a much bigger role than what I wanted to give him, but he's thrown his body around. He's got a decent giveaway to takeaway ratio, and he had a 57.8% face-off percentage. So that's what I need out of a penalty killer, a guy that can just win the face-off and we can get it out. And he does, I believe, fit the system. It doesn't say, because I signed him, of course. And then the next guy is Jack Drury. Now, he was upset because I brought in somebody with a similar role in Owen Beck, but he was the first guy I decided to bring in. Very similar type of player, not nearly as dominant in the defensive category, but one of those guys who's a bit of a better skater and can kind of do it all. And you can see he's had success in the NHL. The ratios aren't nearly as good, but what impressed me the most was the fact that despite playing just 12, 9, and 9 minutes, he's put up 20 points each year for the Carolina Hurricanes. So he does provide a little bit of an offensive edge for us from that bottom line. And hopefully, if the historical trends are anything to go by, he has a bad shooting percentage, a good shooting percentage, a bad shooting percentage. Hopefully we get a good shooting percentage out of him. But I think he's a guy that can give us some points down there. And then, now with us, and hopefully we're a bit of a better team, fit him a little bit better. I believe he does fit the scheme a little bit as well. So these two guys, I'm hoping, will be in the bottom six for us. Now, as you guys can very clearly see, Yuri Kulik needs a contract extension. He's asking for 2 years at 9.9. If I try to lock him up long term, oh boy, does it get expensive. So 9.9. Hopefully we can negotiate with him. We have 15.8 million in extension dollars remaining, but really, if you look at all skaters who are expiring, really just Kulik. Taking a look at the goalies, just Pitkanen, right? So there's not much we have to sign next year. It's a $1 million raise for Kulik. I'm totally fine with that. So I also signed a couple coaches, hopefully getting a bit more synergy with our coaching staff. So let's jump forward, see the lines, and see what Damian Sharp wants to do with this team going into the next season. And here we go, ready to take a look at the lines. Now, I think I'm going to have to adjust Rochester, but that's going to be an off thing. And here we go. Oh my goodness. Our top six looks so good. Now, Brad Lambert is officially going to be the number one center with Gavin McKenna moving to the wing. Philip Zadina is going to be the third guy on that line. Then in the second line, they moved Cooper Lutz up to play with Owen Tippett, who's now up to an 89, and Yuri Kulik at an 87. The third line is now centered by Jack Drury. So they are going to have, okay, I see what they're doing. They want to give Cooper Lutz a bit more time. And how can I really blame him, right? He had 40 points on the fourth line last year, only 8 power play points. So the guy is clearly good enough to move up 23 goals. And he was playing how many minutes a night? Yeah, just 11. So give this guy a little bit more ice time, give him some quality teammates. Look out, because we may have a stud on our hands. Now, the one thing that I was a little bit upset about is Gavin McKenna hasn't grown. So the only 90 we still have is Brad Lambert, but this honestly looks pretty good. If I just hit head coach preferred lines, they've called up Lavin. I don't know why Isaac Roseanne is so upset. Why is he down to a 78? What's wrong? What happened to him? Did he get like seriously negative statistical growth? We'll check that out in a minute. But the third line of Michelli, Drury, and Martone is pretty interesting to me to see a guy like Jack Drury centering that line. But hey, he had point potential. Michelli and Martone, that kind of really can boost him up too. So I'm interested to see how this works. And then Isaac Roseanne, 78. I'm really worried about that one. But Owen Beck and Tyler Lavin. I believe we acquired Tyler Lavin from the Dallas Stars at the trade deadline when I was pretty much done doing things. So we brought him in. It was pretty easy. It was I believe we sold off Tarasov to Columbus, and the picks we used from the Columbus trade there, we went and then flipped those for Lavin. So I think it's a pretty good trade. Looking at the blue line, Oh yeah, it's looking pretty good. They want Persson playing in the NHL. Walter Persson as a rookie is going to play with Heinola. Poor Jack Thompson just keeps getting looked over. I mean, I don't know, guys. You let me know. Should I be playing Persson in the NHL? Do we want him in the NHL? Do we want him in the AHL for a little bit? I think I probably want him in the AHL. And then call up Jack Thompson, but we'll take a look. And then obviously the goaltending is interesting. An 83 Lincoln Gardner. He's listed as a starting goaltender. Oh boy, we got ourselves a medium elite. I believe we traded for him from obviously the Winnipeg Jets, but traded for him just a few years ago. He is just come in and looks great. Scott Rotzloff backing him up. He's got NHL experience. He was okay in his little bit of time here in the NHL. His NHL totals 892, 343. So hopefully a better team in front of him is going to help that as well. But man, oh man, I'm loving this team, guys. I'm loving the fact that we got Brad Lambert. I'm never going to forget Brad Lambert's ascension, just being a stud. Let's take a look at roster moves, though. Anybody in Rochester that is worth calling up? Trudeau, 78 overall. Jack Thompson down to a 77 overall, and I wonder why that is. Maybe it's morale, maybe not, but pinch balanced. If I call him up and then send down Persson, if we do this, yeah, they both are going down to the minors, not the juniors. So there we go. Yeah, let's do that. Jack Thompson, welcome to the NHL. And then in the system, as far as forwards, Von Barnekow. Maybe we want Von Barnekow over Lavin. I don't know. You guys tell me. Isaac Rosen, I got to figure out what the heck happened to him, because that is not what you want to see. And there we go, guys. Jack Thompson stepping into that sixth defender role, getting us the +1 with Heinola. So I'm pretty happy about that. Oslin and Brendan Lemieux, both players. I mean, Brendan Lemieux, yeah, he's very physical. He was just kind of a guy to give us a different edge, a different spark. And the coach just never wanted to play him. And I can't blame him. He fits the fourth line perfectly, but I guess they just don't want to play him. And then the other guy is Noah Oslin, who's more of a playmaker. I mean, honestly, he's not really all that great. I mean, he's decent. Right? He's an 80 overall. He's a fine player to have, but 19 points, -9, played all games last year. Maybe I send him down and let him grow as an 80 overall, because I don't know. I think Owen Beck is a better player for the bottom six, and Lavin, I mean, I'd like to give him a shot. He's a two-way forward, looks pretty decent, right? Again, just prioritizing defense for that bottom six. So for Isaac Rosen, if we just take a look here, it is pretty significant morale growth. -5 offensive awareness, a little bit in the shot, -4 defensive awareness. I mean, that's just going to ruin him as a player. And then his skating, the dude's sad, so he lost 8 skating. That's crazy. I guess he's just sandbagging it out there. And he's lost his strength and durability. So hopefully a guy that we can improve his morale. That might be something again this year. I do. How is our morale as a team? Is down to 64%. Taking a look at the morale in the locker room. Jack Thompson is disengaged. Yuri Kulik is neutral, but disengaged Jack Thompson. I don't know why Rosen isn't higher. I wish I could be like, what's going on, bud? Let's cheer you up. And then, yeah, on ice play. He's got high adaptability. So if I tell him I want him to change his scheme fit, which we could do, he currently fits all the lines. He doesn't. Yeah, he's not gonna. Okay, yeah, he's upset. So maybe I'll manually move him up, and we'll manually set the lines a little bit, because I just don't think he can be playing fourth line ice time, and we might just have a lost cause on our hand versus a guy that, if he is, happy, he's looking really, really good. So I guess we'll need to find somebody to play center. Maybe that's Michelli. Maybe it's Martone. How's Martone's faceoffs? 68. Yikes. Michelli's faceoffs are 70. So he would play center here. We're going to move Rosen up and then do something like that. Heck, I could even move Brad Lambert back down and do this. And then, yeah, there's a lot I can do. Cooper Lutz could be a third line scorer for us, or I could play him on the first line because he was that good. Or we can just trust the coach. So let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section. But the team looks great. I'm so pumped with all these X factors and everything like that. Looking super, super good for a team that started off so poorly. I'm gonna have to find a screenshot of that first ever team because it was rough. But hey, we're in a good spot now. Hopefully we can make the playoffs again, and maybe this year make a little bit of noise. Our goaltending is trending in the right direction. The rest of the team's still deep as ever and ascending. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section about what I should do with the lines. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see some more, and I will see you guys in the next one.